guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about makeup, chronic illness, and whatever I want. And today I'm going to be doing my 2024 goals and a 2023 goal recap. My video is technically a get ready with me, but I had some technical difficulties in like the first 7-ish minutes and I have no audio. So I'm going to refilm that briefly, just touch on the few notes that I know I talked about, and then you'll get the rest of the footage of me doing this look. So I mentioned how I kind of disappeared because I accidentally ate a food. It wasn't an accident. That's a lie. I ate a food that I can't eat, apples, and I made myself very sick for like a whole week. So that's why there was another absence in video, and that's why I'm breaking out. I mentioned that. I also mentioned my camera fan being incredibly loud. So if I mention that again in other parts of the video, that's why. I think I did resolve it when I come back. I mentioned all the products I'm using. I primed my skin with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum in Main Squeeze. I love this. And also my regular skincare moisturizer, things like that. I also think I forgot to mention at one point, I primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden. This has been my holy grail for like ever. I start by doing my makeup from the brows up because I didn't want to risk fallout messing up all of this. So the products I used there were the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation in 1 and 2 Ecru, my holy grail foundation. And then I don't know if I mentioned in the other part, I used, where are you? Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 3. And then I start talking about my 2023 goals and how I did on them. The first one was log off for Shabos, and I was successful with that. Every week for the whole year, I log off at sundown on a Friday, and I do all my cleaning and whatever I feel like on Saturday. It's nice just being like logged off. I don't observe it for strict religious reasons, so I don't have to abstain from turning lights off or doing work or anything like that. It was mostly just a time I wanted to start forcing myself to spend less time on screens, and then it just became something I look forward to every week, just a break from the news and feeling the need to post and things like that. I think that was everything that I missed. If you're clueless on something I say, or like if I try to like touch back on something I did in these first like 8 minutes, I apologize sincerely for not checking to make sure my microphone was working. But now I'm going to hand it back off to past me, who is doing this look, which I think turned out quite nicely. And let's continue. I have no idea if I fixed the problem. Steam kept turning itself on, even though I had it off. I don't know what it did. And then I like cleaned the fans out. Where were we? So accomplished goal number 1. The product I use on my brows is Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 3. Next, more time with hobbies. I want to say like kind of. I started reading a lot more, but everything else, I don't know. I'm painting my nails more frequently. I didn't really get back into art or anything like that. So I will give this one like a 50%. Next, start gallery walls in here. I did do this. I haven't finished them. Obviously, you don't buy everything for a gallery wall at one time, but I did get a significant amount of stuff done. I'm doing like a gold smoky eye, which I don't think I've done. I almost did a rose gold smoky eye, which I definitely have never done, like with a black. I'm going to do that a different time, but everyone voted for regular gold. So I'm using the ABH Soft Glam palette. I'm going to start with this burnt orange shade. What's my next thing? Keep the neighbor's cats out of my garden. I did accomplish this. I need to expand on it this year because it was just sort of a trial situation. I didn't fully do it how I wanted to, mainly because the migraine attacks were so terrible that I didn't get as much time outside as I would have liked. So I didn't do nearly as much out there as I had intended. I'm going in with the orange soda shade above it to buff the edges out. This year I'm going to just use some netting to fully keep them out. I used these old fence panels last year and it did work, but it was just a pain how I had them laid. I couldn't weed around it easily. It was just a big headache, so I have a better idea of how I'm doing that this year. But that was accomplished. The next item on my list was getting taller shepherd's hooks for the bird feeders. Something traumatic regarding this. I wanted them to protect the birds from the neighbor's cats, and didn't quite work because the cat snatched a grackle right out of the air in front of me, and that was traumatic to see. I did get the taller hooks, but it did not do what I intended to do, which was to protect the birds. Power wash the house. I did do that. And then I subscribed to doing that every year because the house looks so sparkly clean, and will also just be easier doing maintenance. You know, like, it was really easy. The power washer I got was really nice. It was only, well, I don't know what it is now because of inflation, but when I bought it, it was only $60 at Harbor Freight. It is when you plug in, it's not gas because I don't need anything wild. And our house isn't 2 stories or anything, so I don't need crazy power. But I used that, and then I looked up like what was the best solution for cleaning homes. And Bob Vila, or This Old House, I forget which one. Is Bob Vila on This Old House? Maybe. They said it's mold armor, I believe. Let me look that up real quick before I am spouting lies. Yes, mold armor. It comes in all sorts of things you can use for other areas of your home too. But I got the jug of mold armor, and it melted right off. I thought I was going to have to, do it a couple of times. I did have to do it twice because I hadn't in the entirety of us living here, and we're in June it'll be 7 years, so 6 years of never cleaning this house. Is like the north facing side of the house, so had to do 2 rounds, but doing it every year I think I'll just be able to do it once. Worked great. Glad I got that accomplished. Looks really nice. Next I'm going to go in with rustic. It's wild to say I've never done a gold smoky eye, and by that I mean, it's not that I haven't done a gold eye that's kind of like smoke adjacent, but I've never done like a black with gold, which is what I'm going for. I just want the gradient of the edges being a bit buffed out, which is what I'm doing here. It's still going to be bold. I just want to start here. That's why I didn't do any of this, because I expect a lot of black fallout. What's the next one? My low buy. This was also successful. I purchased much less this year than I had in previous years, and it's going to lead me into one of my 2024 goals and next week's video, which is a no buy. There will obviously be some exceptions. We'll go over that a little bit in my 2024 goals, but obviously I'll really get into detail in next week's video. That's all about the no buy altogether. But I was very successful at this. I even had, I want to say 3 months where I bought nothing, which is super exciting. Start a new movement routine with my new limitations. This is like another 50% one. So I did I started a bit of like a physical therapy routine. So it's not a full movement routine, but it is still movement. So I'm not going to say that I didn't do this, but it also isn't consistently a routine, I guess I would say. And my goal was to come up with a whole routine of me moving, and this was kind of just me randomly doing some stuff. So like, yes, it was movement. Yes, I was doing it consistently. No, it wasn't a routine. Now I'm going to go in with Nior, and we're just going to start working on this. This is going to take some time, so bear with me. I also need a synthetic brush. Yes. The next one was finish my polish declutter. This is almost. I'm pretty positive I have 7 shades left in my maybe drawer, and I'm pretty positive I'm going to be keeping all of them, but I don't know for sure until I actually use them. So I want to say mostly what threw me off of finishing it, I have some skipping because my lid is loose, so you'll notice like that's what that is. The skin is moving. I wanted to use specific colors around Thanksgiving and for December and stuff. So that's why I didn't finish it, because the colors are more like spring colors. So that's a 99% accomplished. Next one, work on resetting my hunger cues. So a little bit of a quick trigger warning of like talking about disordered eating and stuff like that. I am recovering from anorexia, and with that came my body not knowing how to handle hunger cues, because I was training my brain for the better part of a decade to ignore them. So my body just stopped giving them to me. Well, now that I am in recovery and healing my relationship with food and doing all of these things, not only do I have to retrain my metabolism to work functionally because I'm no longer starving it, I have to retrain my brain to be like, hey, you can tell me I'm hungry because I'm going to listen now. And I have been very successful. It's still not foolproof. I still have days, they're much fewer, but I still have days where my body doesn't tell me I'm hungry, especially if I'm busy. And I know that happens with everyone. If your brain is distracted, you might not hear the cues, or your brain just might forget to give them to you, kind of situation. But I'm much better off than I was regarding that. I'm very happy to say that. And I think 2024 will just bring me even more progress. I have started more like meal prepping and stuff because it's so much easier for me to grab food rather than, have to make the meal when I'm hungry. I'll just get way too hungry. So we're working on that as well. But yes, that was a success. My final one, I think it's my final one, is the continue to grow personally and professionally. And I have been quite successful with that as well, I'm happy to say. I'm going to go in with this Cypress Umber shade and buff out some edges here. I don't actually know where my follower count started at the beginning of the year. I don't pay super close attention to the numbers because it's easy to get really caught up in them and almost obsessive, especially if you're someone who is recovering from any kind of situation where you have a number obsession, like an eating disorder. So I did hit my milestone of 500, and I'm very happy and proud that I've accomplished that. And if you are one of my subscribers, thank you so much. It makes me really happy, and I'm glad that you're here. I hope to just continue that growth into the new year. As far as professionally, or not professionally, personally, thank you. I have continued to use the tips and tricks that I learned in therapy and continue to practice boundaries and speaking up for myself and not being so reactive and all those kinds of things. And I'm just happy with the progress I made this year. And I look forward to seeing where that leads me in 2024. Okie dokie. So I have my 2024 goals split between home, self, and work. I love having home goals just because they're fun. Whether it's cleaning or decluttering or DIY or whatever. I think they're fun little to-do list goal items to have. Up first is stain the porch. This might sound familiar if you have been here for a minute. I would have liked to do this last year had I not been having all those migraine attacks because it needed it last year desperately. Nobody told me And by nobody, I mean I didn't look it up. I just kind of assumed it was like painting a wall. And, you know, once you think about it, you realize, duh, obviously it's not like painting a wall. But you have to re-stain regularly. Now, the thing that shocked me is if you live somewhere cold where you use salt and you have to shovel, like you don't have a covering that keeps all the snow off, you're supposed to do this every year. I do not have it in me to do it every year. Like, that's such a big job. It's so much. But need it done in 2021. I wasn't going to do it because I did it in 2020. I'm pretty certain. Or did I do it in 2021? I have no idea. Anyway, it 100,000% needed done last year, but I was having so many migraine attacks, and then the wildfire smoke came. So I could not be out there, and I definitely couldn't be out there using other stuff that would irritate my lungs. So it didn't get done. So it absolutely needs to get done this year. It won't be the end of the world if it doesn't, but it's almost kind of a non-negotiable house task that it needs done. Like, it needs done before the house needs power washed again, if that makes sense. You guys do makeup. Do you notice, like, one eye always blends differently than the other? It's like, I always struggle with the left side. I don't know what if it's because I'm right-handed. And the next task, let me rotate this one because this might be a maybe based on the weather prediction. Next, organize the filming and spare room closets. So this is something I'm going to actually be starting this week. My filming room closet is a disaster. The spare room closet is not nearly as bad. It's just kind of disorganized because we were trying to use it for a couple different purposes, and that's totally doable. Like, we can use it for both of those things. I just did not have it organized to do those two things, so I need to reorganize it so it works. It's not that there's too much stuff or anything. It's just it was set up the last time I cleaned it out to function one way. And then we decided we wanted to add a second storage situation in there, and it's not functioning. But yeah, once I just shift stuff around in there, it will be fine. Shift stuff around. But my filming room closet is an absolute disaster. So, you know, if you've been here, I've been on this like downsizing, rearranging journey thing here for a little bit. And I had some maybe items, things that I couldn't quite commit to fully getting rid of yet. And so it kind of just got stuck in my filming room closet. And now that closet is hard to manage. It's impossible to find anything in. It has the perfect amount of storage, and it will work great. It's just I have awkward shaped things just kind of stuck. Nothing is stacked properly. It's a whole situation that needs to be dealt with. So that's on my deep cleaning for this season. I do my spring cleaning starting in January. I'm going to tackle the two closets first. I have two rooms that are going to take me the longest to deep clean. One is the kitchen, just because it's the biggest room that gets the messiest, right? Like, everyone's kitchen is the messiest. And, you know, I got to get up there and clean the tops of the cabinets and the fronts of the cabinets and all of that fun stuff. This room, because I need to completely empty the closet, reorganize it, it's just going to take longer than, like, a bathroom, right? So, that is a task I absolutely want to get done. This one is just a fun little tidbit. Buy flowers more frequently. Like, I'm talking, you know, just some flowers for a vase, not outdoor flowers. You know, you never get as much fallout as you think you will when you don't do this, but if you did do this, it would be terrible. So, flowers make me happy, and I just want to get them more frequently. I usually get some for, I don't know, like my birthday or something like that, but I would like to buy them, I don't know, maybe monthly or something. They don't have to be expensive. I'm not talking like I need 6 dozen roses, but just something cat safe every once in a while to put in the kitchen, which just seems fun. Now this next one is weather, what's the word? Dependent on the weather is the word. Okay, I'm gonna like clean this up with a wipe. So I would like to start a new flower bed, like by my garden. I have this like awkward space in front of my vegetable garden that's just like, it's just like a weird patch of grass. It looks awkward and I would just like to fill it in with some stuff. However, we're having an incredibly warm winter, basically no snow. It's like that for a lot of areas in the north, which means we're probably going to see what we saw last year. Wildfire situation. Wildfire situation is not going to be cute or fun, especially for Canada, but it's probably going to be like what it was here last year where I just can't really go outside. This is the NYX glitter primer, as I always use. I don't know what I'm going to get done outside because I can't go out there and work when the air quality is terrible. Nobody should, but you definitely shouldn't if you have asthma. Alright, I'm going in with, it says bronze, but I think it's gold. Like a bronzy gold, I suppose you could call it. I don't want to start a yard project until we see what the wildfire prediction is, which I think they said is going to be April, which is kind of late in the season for such a warm winter because I can't do work when it's hot, right? I don't know, it's kind of up in the air. I think this is just not going to happen for me, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's fine. I could just do more indoor projects. And then that leads me to this other one that's kind of a maybe, was starting my seed growing shelf. So last year was my first year growing all of my stuff, all of my garden stuff, or most of it. I think like 2 plants I had to get at the nursery, but I grew most of my vegetable garden from seeds, and I don't want to take over my whole kitchen counter again like I did last year for 2 months. It was kind of inconvenient, so I want to start a little shelf to do that, but it seems kind of silly to spend that money this year if I can't really do much outside. Now, the wildfire smoke didn't directly impact being able to like grow the seeds, right? Like obviously you can grow a plant even if you can't be outside. Like they're still growing. The issue is the crops sucked pretty hard because it was so hazy and murky that the plants weren't getting enough sun. So I'm kind of at this, I don't know what I want to do. It sucks because one of my Christmas gifts was these books I wanted about square foot planting, so I can like optimize how much I can grow in, you know, my 4x4 gardens. I have 2. I can't start my seeds until April anyway. So that's when the report will come out about like their prediction of wildfire season. And so it's not like it's going to ruin anything because they come out around the same time. So I wouldn't get the seed shelf set up until April anyway. It's fine. But those are like up in the air goals because I don't exactly know what's going to happen. It would be cool if it works out. It will be no big deal if it doesn't work out. They're just on the list as maybes. And something else I have as a maybe, and this will kind of be dependent on the wildfires as well. If I cannot do my flower bed outside, and it's looking like, based on what I read yesterday, it's looking like the wildfires are going to be as bad as last year, if not worse. It's looking like a no, right? I'm going to paint the guest bathroom. If I can't do an outside project, I'll do an inside project. Now, I will save the guest bathroom painting for another time, next year or something, if I can do that flower bed, but it's looking like a 95% chance that the outdoor flower bed is not going to happen. I think those are all my home goals. Let's do work goals. My self goals are the longest, so let's move on to work goals. The first one is put more time and effort into Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. Growth happens everywhere. It's very true. I focused really hard on just like being more consistent and figuring out a schedule for YouTube that works well for me. And I was successful in that. This looks a little sloppy, but I think it's because I am not finished. I'm used to seeing my work like with a full face and like cleaned up, so fingers crossed I can save this. I'm going to go over the top with, this is Midnight Sun. I don't know what these are called. I don't keep the boxes. I keep some of the boxes. Most of them come busted, so I don't have the little inserts. I don't plan on selling this stuff, so it doesn't matter. Whatever this is, I'm going to put all over. What was I saying? Oh, growth on like TikTok, Reels, Pinterest. Basically, I just need to start, marketing myself in other places. I might regret what I just did. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the angle. I might have oopsied it. I guess it's not too bad. No, that's okay. Okay. But yeah, I just need to dedicate more time to other areas of social media to grow myself. Excellent. Work on my photography. So I have loved photography my entire life, and that probably sounds like a lie or cheesy or all of the above or whatever, but no, I have been a camera ham forever. Love taking pictures, love being in pictures, all sorts of stuff. Obviously, I fell down the rabbit hole of like Tumblr era, like photography stuff too, but I've always really been into it. Something I've really wanted to do is switch from just my phone for makeup photos and get into using my actual camera. So I got some stuff for Christmas that I'll be able to do that. I'll also be able to up my game for Christmas card photos, which I'm excited about. So that, it's like a work and a self hobby goal I have for 2024. This next one, improve my thumbnails. I know, you don't have to tell me. They're not great. We're going to do the rest of my face now. My thumbnails aren't great, and for me, it was like I wanted to start working on like what I was doing with the channel and consistency with like the type of content I was creating and like a semblance of an upload schedule and stuff like that. I wanted to do that before I focused on the aesthetic, if you will. I'm color correcting in my eyes with the LA Girl Pro Conceal. It's just peach. Yeah, peach corrector. Because, yeah, girls' circles are dark. But now I'm ready to start improving my thumbnails. I started working on it a little for Vlogmas, but, like, they still aren't good. It's a talent. It's a skill you gotta work on. I'll figure it out. But I definitely am going to allocate resources and time to doing that. The last thing is just continue my growth. I hit 500 subscribers this year. I'm excited. I would love to hit 1,000 next year. I would love, love, love that. So like that's my ultimate goal. But I'm also not going to beat myself up or hold it against myself if I don't. And now I'm going in with the Pro Conceal in green on a little brush to help with some of this redness. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't hit 1,000 next year. That's just my big goal. Dream big. Just keep working, give you something to strive towards kind of situation. I'll be happy if I only get 10 new subscribers in 2024. because I appreciate all of you. I'm glad that you're here and you care about the things that I have to say, or that you like the things I create, or whatever reason you're here. I'm just glad that you are. So those were my work goals. Now let's get into the self goals, which I think are kind of fun, or the most fun. And number 1, add retinol back into my skincare routine. And mention I'm like partially breaking out because I ate fructose and I cannot digest fructose. I thought a little bit would be okay, and I was wrong. But I also added a proper BHA back into my skin because I had so many appointments from August to like November, basically. My skin was freaking out from the maskne, and so I added the BHA in to help combat that. But of course, like, there's a purge because I had all this underskin situation that it was just pulling it to the surface, and it's finally seems to be resolving. But I think it says like 4 weeks or something to like cycle through all that, and we are basically at 4 weeks, that's for sure. I was using a retinol last year, and I was really liking the results. My skin was looking great. Like, my skin is already doing pretty good, minus like what's happening right now. But I went on vacation. Like, the water softener demolished my skin. I don't know what was happening. This Shape Tape 20S light sand. I think I put 16N in my description that I was using. That's the foundation shade that I use, not the concealer. First, I want to tap this out a bit. Oh, this needs to go in the garbage. Look at her, all ripped. I think this is one of those Shop Miss A sponges. They're here like $1. I noticed, sidebar, everyone says, like, just get the cheap sponges. They're just as good as, like, name brand, like, Beauty Blender or whatever. I agree when it comes to application. I do not agree on lifespan. So the original Beauty Blender and the Real Technique sponges will always be my number 1 because not only do they work well, but they last many, many, many washes. Like, this sponge and my original Beauty Blender are the same age, and one is ripping and one is not. So, do with that information what you will, but the Real Techniques aren't nearly as expensive, and you can get them at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, all of those places at a discount. They're still way cheaper than a Beauty Blender. But these dollar sponges, you're going to get, like, maybe a half dozen uses, and then it's trash, which, fine, you know, they're less expensive, but it's just more stuff going into a landfill and just seems more wasteful. Back to what I was saying. So the water softener on vacation absolutely demolished my moisture barrier. I'm talking, like, it took me well over 6 months to fix it. It was a hot mess. My skin on not just my face, but my body was horrifying. It was scaly and flaky, and it burned, and it was cracked, and it was just oof. So I stopped using retinol and everything. Now that everything is all fixed and better and I'm happy with it, I would like to add retinol back in, especially I'm going to be 34 in April, and it's time to have a retinol. I don't aim to use it every day because I do a lot of stuff for acne. I would like to do it twice a week. Next, perfect my morning and night routine. Life is better when you're organized. I don't care if you have ADHD. I don't care if you have depression. I don't care. None of that matters. Your life is better with a routine. Even if it's the smallest routine, even if it's only a routine of 2 things, have a routine. I have more or less perfected my night routine, but morning routine, I really need to get on it. It's a hot mess. And there's still some fine tuning to my night routine I would like to do. Like, add in the journaling. I was trying to do that in my morning routine. Maybe I will. I don't know. I think it's going to work better at night, if I'm being honest. Being scheduled and organized is just going to make your life so much better. I promise you. Let's set the under eyes so I can do this makeup. I don't want to do anything else to my face, like, bronzer or anything until I have the eyes done in case I have to touch it up. I also just want to sidebar, like, nothing is better than an organized individual. Even if it's chaotic organization. We just need organization. Paint my nails weekly. So I've started only in the last, like, 2 or 3 months doing that. So I want to make that a permanent thing. Paint my nails at least once a week. I feel so much better when my nails are painted. Also, you just, like, look better when you have a manicure. Even if it's a clear manicure, your nails just, like, bring your whole look together. It's just, like, a whole vibe. Next is do my makeup most days. I had this mindset that I had to be going somewhere or doing something, filming or whatever, to do my makeup, or else it was just, like, weird. Be weird. The goal of 2024. Be weird, right? I want to do my makeup more frequently. I want to have fun with it. I want a full face to clean the toilets. I want to have fun with my makeup. And this goes into the no buy of, I also just want to really enjoy my collection. And, like, that's why I'm doing no buy. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but that's kind of, like, the purpose here, you know? Even if it's just a lipstick and something small, I think doing my makeup every day, or most days, not every day. Obviously, I'm not going to feel good every day. I'm sick, you know? It's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, you know, a moment. Next, no buy. Obviously, I mentioned there will be a whole video on this next week. So I'm not going to get too into it now. But I successfully completed a low buy this year. I want to take it a step further because look at my makeup collection in a new light. But also, like, makeup releases have just been, like, meh. Like, you can only do the same thing so many times in so many different ways. And, like, I'm not becoming a minimalist. I'm not going to be, like, anti-consumer. I just want to be a mindful consumer. That's my goal here. Okay, like, we're going to go back and, like, do a little more to this, but I'm going to go to the other side because I think I got it. That video will come next week where I'll get into all the details, but no buy 2024 is a go. Pick back on my cross stitch. So this hasn't been on my YouTube channel, I don't believe, but it used to be on my Instagram if you've been here for a while or you know me personally or whatever. I started this, like, big old Pokemon cross stitch, like all of Gen 1, huge thing. I'm not even a quarter of the way done with it. We moved into the house, and obviously being a homeowner and everything just has you busy. But then I started to get into other hobbies like makeup and limited resources and energy as a chronically ill individual. I couldn't do everything. Couldn't have all the hobbies because I only have a very, very limited amount of energy. Put the cross stitch away for a while. I tried to do it and then I, like, hurt my wrist in 2020. I think I was in a brace most of the year. It was a whole thing. Obviously, repetitive wrist motions for cross stitch and wrist brace. And of course, I'm right-handed and it was my right wrist because why wouldn't it be? It's just a whole thing. I put it away. I thought I was done cross-stitching forever, but I really miss it and I would like to pick it back up. And I seem to have, like, my wrist situation under control. I at least want to give it a try. Next, read at least 24 books. So this will be a really easy one for me because I mentioned in that last part where it said, like, pick back up hobbies or whatever it was, that I started reading, like, way more. I've read 28 books this year, and I only started really picking up reading again in the last couple of months. So, like, I've powered through most of that in the last handful of months. I think I could easily read 24 books. I've been kind of reading a book a week, but I don't want to like feel pressure to do something that big. So we're just going to do 2 books a month. See where I'm at next year. Daily walk. Whether it's in place, back and forth to the house, elliptical, whatever. I just want to get a gentle movement system in place, move my body, and not have to worry about stress on my joints, crashing, increasing my heart rate too much. Like, sure, a big workout is fun and everything, but it just isn't sustainable for me, and it's not sustainable for a lot of people. Walking is great. I think it's underrated. It's good for your body. It's good for your joints. Good for your soul. Good for your mood. That I would like to start doing. I'm not going to have like a step goal or anything because I haven't got that far into it, and I need to figure out like what doesn't make me crash. Like, that's the most important here, is like what can my body tolerate without it being like an issue. I think I'm almost done with the eyes. The daily walks are also just going to help me like rebuild my strength and stuff like that, so I can actually get into a proper movement routine. Goodness. Okay. Yeah, I want like, let's use Hourglass. I'm just obsessed with this Hourglass palette. I'm using it constantly. This bronzer in it is just so good for my skin tone. It's a new one. I hope they add it to their bronzer collection because I'm going to be sad when I run out. The next goal is meal prepping. I think I briefly mentioned that when I was talking about like the Hunger Q situation. I am a grab and go girly. I can't eat like fast food or anything because gluten, but it's so much easier when I have like a frozen dinner or something easy. So I want to start just making up my meals for the week. I ordered these little containers because I love those Sargento's snack breaks, fast breaks, whatever the heck they are, but they're so expensive. So I'm like, let me just make my own. Then I got a snack. I'm going to start meal prepping my lunches, and that way I could just grab it, reheat it, and I don't have to think about it. Just once a week I have to take some time and cook up some food, which is super easy. I don't like doing it every day. If I wait until I'm actually hungry, I'm just not going to make a meal that's actually satisfying and meets all of my requirements. It's gonna make my life much easier, and I'm excited. I'm almost done. I actually timed this to where like my makeup and my video are gonna be done similarly. Usually I run out of stuff run out of stuff before my makeup is done, and then end up in a weird position. Declutter my wardrobe. Oh yeah, I'm using the Hourglass Jellyfish palette, or I think it's just like one. I got it in the owl packaging, but so the bronzer was a Lunar Bronze, and I am using Rose Fusion blush, which is that top one in the middle. Declutter my wardrobe. So I've hung on to some stuff that's, I guess, like dated is the word I'm looking for. It's not trendy anymore, and I don't really care about fashion trends that much, right? I just wear what I think looks good. But since learning about like my body shape and how to wear things that just like look good on my body shape, some of these clothes items I've hung on to for like special occasions or whatever, like dress pants or whatever, they just are not flattering on me. They look goofy, and I'm in this point of life where I want to dress in a way that just like makes me look and feel good. And I don't care if it's like on trend, but I do want it to fit my body shape. I'm apple shaped, so I carry all of my weight in the middle. I have no ass. It's literally flat. It's literally just a back, this, and then my legs. My legs are really skinny. My midsection is larger. It's just a thing. So certain clothes that I used to wear when I was younger, before like my body shape took form and I was just kind of like a malleable teenager and young adult, it just doesn't look great. But I have dress pants and stuff from like my early 20s when my body was still kind of like taking form, you know, like a caterpillar in a cocoon. And I just finally need to get rid of them and get like dress pants that work properly. But I really just want to fine tune my wardrobe into stuff that just like, not only do I like, but it also just fits my body proportions properly. Next, less screen time. I spend too much time looking at screens in general. And I know you do too. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. It's bad for your eyes. It's ruining your eyes. My eye doctor told me so. That's why my eyes keep getting worse. I had years where my eyes wouldn't change, and I thought it was just aging. And she's like, it's partially aging, but it's also screen time. You're looking at computers. You're looking at phones. It's mostly phone because it's so small. It's ruining your eyes. It's ruining my eyes, and it's ruining your eyes. So think about that in 2024. Let's just do the matching highlighter in here too, which is Opal Strobe Light. Yeah, so less screen time. I've already been doing well, like I said. Doing like the whole Shabbos thing has helped me just like do other stuff, but I've also just been really mindful of what the hell I'm doing to my eyeballs, because I can't keep having worse eyes just because I'm looking at TikTok, you know, and TikTok is addictive. Don't even get me started on that. I know, I'm addicted, you're addicted, we're all addicted. I don't care if you're watching on TikTok or Reels, by the way, because they started on TikTok. My last goal is start scrapbooking again. I'm almost done with my makeup, by the way. I need to do brow gel. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. So I started scrapbooking in high school, and it was fun. And then I stopped because we have smartphones. Why do I need to scrapbook things? It's all just on the phone. Well, let me ask you, fine viewer, when was the last time you categorized the photos on your phone? And when was the last time you looked at them? I'm sure your answer is very similar to mine, and it's, I don't know. I have no idea. Or never. Some of us just switch phones and take everything to the new phone, never looking at it. Or you just put it on your hard drive. I have gold glitter all over here because of fallout. So I need to get better about cleaning my phone out. The other thing I want to do though is make folders of each year, not just so it's organized when I put it on my hard drive, but I want to pick out like collage worths every year, 2 12 by 12 pages, all of my favorite photos from the year, print them and put them in a scrapbook. That way they're just right there looking at me. And I keep my scrapbooks in the living room. They're really fun to look at. And I highly, highly suggest you at least start organizing your photos. I'm not saying you have to start scrapbooking. You need to start organizing your photos. What's left? I need to do something with lips. I need to do mascara. So I'm going to go do my mascara and do my lips because I can't talk while I'm doing that. And that was my last goal. And we will reconvene in a minute. We normally would have gone in with Victoria Beckham bikini over Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. But that's in my purse and I don't want to go get it. So we're using Fenty Fussy, which is also a beautiful color. I just went with my natural nude lip. I think this would look great with a red lip, but I couldn't be bothered to try and sit there and line it after I fought with my laptop for 807 years. So those are my goals for 2024, the recap of 2023. Wild to think that this year is over. If you have any goals for the year, let me know. I love to know what people are accomplishing or hoping to accomplish. Don't feel like you have to have any goals. Also, don't feel bad if you didn't meet the goals from last year. Life is but a game. Have fun with it. It's not that serious. They're just goals. And there's always next year to try again. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.